What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I'm going to show you how to fix a water damaged ceiling. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. So we've obviously got a water damaged ceiling here. I'm not too sure the extent of it. I haven't touched it as yet. I'm about to show you guys from start to finish what you can expect and the different ways that we can actually address this. I'm not too sure how much of it is going to be salvageable at the moment because I can see some mesh tape here which tells me somebody's done some work here in the past. First thing we're going to do, take a scraper and we're simply going to take off all this bubbled lumpy section here. Now the roof has been fixed, so we don't have to worry about it leaking again in the future. We're going to simply scrape away all of this and see the extent of the damage. If we're lucky, it's simply bubbled on the surface. We'll be able to seal it, patch it and repaint it. However, this section here isn't looking very promising at the moment. I can see some of the original tape here. If we pull that a bit further, this, I'm assuming, is where the mesh tape is. Yep, definitely right there. We've got some mesh tape. What I'm going to do is take a little knife and I'm just going to score a line right against the edge of the cornice here and also the ceiling. That way we're going to stop that tape from causing any more damage. As I pull it, now that I'm taking a closer look at it, I can actually see that there has definitely been previous work here done in the past. Alrighty, that's not looking too bad here. Still can't see exactly what's happened. Once again, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite end, pretty much. Where the damage stops right here, we're going to score a little line and that is going to stop our tape from peeling any further. So we've got that one there stopped right there. So nice and solid. What seems to have happened here, there's a large gap for whatever reason between the two pieces of plasterboard and the water. I guess it's kind of lucky in this case here, or lucky for me anyway. The water's just simply gone straight through that gap and bubbled up on the surface. So this is a little good case scenario here. Worst case scenario would have been that I'd have to cut a section out and then just simply replace that. But if you're interested and you do have to cut a section out on your ceiling, I've got plenty of videos on my channel that'll show you how to do that step by step. For this one right here, once again, we're going to keep working at this, making sure there's no loose sections left. So now that we've got the area cleaned up, we can see exactly what we're working with. We've got some water stains along the edges that we need to seal and paint later on. We're going to have to patch all this outer area here where it's all peeled off. We've got a big hole right here in the middle, and if you have a look inside, it's directly underneath some pipe working that's up there and some plumbing. So we've got some blocks of timber that have been installed all around this little hole here. What we're going to do, there's a couple different ways that we can address this. We can cut the whole section out, which honestly might open up a can of worms, especially being so close to the plumbing right here, and we don't know how far back this is going to spread in terms of the work that they've previously done here. So the easiest way around this today, I'm going to get a piece of timber, cut one about the length of this little hole here, slide it inside as much as I can, pull it back down flat, attach some screws and secure that one there down as some backing. And then what I'm going to do is just cut a little piece of plasterboard to fit into this hole here. Doesn't have to be perfect. All we need to do is just reduce the amount of fill that we're going to be filling in this area here. And then we're going to patch and sand and paint this whole area. Alright, so I've got a little scrap piece of timber here that we're going to be using as our backing support. Now because this one here is going to be a very tight area and I'm going to struggle to apply pressure while putting in the screws to support this one here, what I'm going to do is put a screw straight through the middle here, or actually we can line it up and roughly, yeah, it is about into the middle, so somewhere around here. That's going to be a little anchor there that I'm going to be able to hold on to and put some pressure back down. So let's try and slide this one here through, flip it on its back. And that is looking perfect. Move it back a and forth to try and get rid of any grit that might be underneath it, so that we make sure that this is sitting down nice and flat. Alright, that's looking pretty good there. And now we can drive some screws in there. And because it's going to want to push that timber up, we're going to pull down on this section here. Alright, so now we've got our little backing support perfectly installed. We can remove this middle screw. So now we've got our backing installed here. What we're going to do next is cut a little piece of plasterboard to roughly match the shape here so that we can slot it inside. Now it doesn't have to be exact, just a little guesstimation, and that's going to prevent us from having to try and fill this whole area here and wait for that one there to set without it sagging down. It also reduces our dry time, and it's going to make things much easier and cleaner to do it this way. So I've got a little piece here that I've roughly cut out, almost looks like a house, and we're going to slot this little piece in here. That can sit right there. Then we're going to take some screws and we're going to simply attach that one there to our backing that we've installed. So now we can screw this one here straight up. Alright, so now we've got this little hole here filled in. What we're going to do next is mix up our little batch of cornice cement. Now, the reason why I'm using cornice cement is it sets much quicker than regular joint compound. It's also got adhesive properties, so it's going to make this bond a lot better in my personal experience. So that's what I prefer to use. You can use anything you like. So I've got the cornice cement ready to go. We're going to simply fill in this whole area, tape it all off. The tape that we're going to be using is Fiber Fuse. If you haven't used it before, it is the most easiest and DIY friendly tape to use. It lays nice and flat. It allows the compound to go through the mesh to some extent as well. So it's going to make your life much easier. I'm going to quickly fill this section here on or in. It doesn't really matter what it looks like at the moment. This is just our base coat. So as long as it's completely filled in, that's all we're really after here. Alright, at this point we can now take our tape and we're just going to tape everything here off. Hopefully I'm not blocking the camera's view. Try not to overlap your tape, just put them side by side. Alright, that's looking good there. So now we can press all of this here in. Alright, once you've got all your tape in, then we can give it another coat straight over the top. We're going to skim this whole area here. We'll clean up these edges. And that's looking much better already. So we're going to let this one here set. It should hopefully take about 20 to 30 minutes. And that one there will be set. We can then follow it over the top with our regular joint compound. And the hard part's done, guys. So hopefully you guys are up to this process already, or up to this stage. This is the hardest part done, and the rest of it's nice and easy, and just watch everything come together. So once it's all dry, you can then take a clean scraper, knock off any high spots. You don't need to sand it. Alright, and that's now ready for a top coat. So what we're going to be using is either an all-purpose or a topping compound. So go over the top, skim it out nice and thin, and you want to bring it out wider. And we're also going to feather off the edges, make sure everything blends in nicely. Generally, probably about 2 more coats, but we may get lucky and be able to do it in 1 coat. So then we can feather out all these edges. And just lay it all off nice and flat. So this one here is looking pretty good at the moment. We might just let it dry, give it a light sand and see if we can get away with it or if we need a final coat. So once it's dry and you're happy with the finished results, you can then use 240 or 120 grit sandpaper, depending on how well you finished it off. If it's done nicely, then you can get away with straight on to 240. If not, use 120 and then gradually go down to 240 grit. So we're just going to clean up this little lip here first. Any mess that I might have made on the corners, bring it across so that we smooth off this little edge here. And then we can work on all these edges here, making sure this section here is going to be the most important. Make sure it's 100% feathered off and it has a nice transition from the existing ceiling over to the new patch that we've just done. Wear a mask if you've got one. If not, hold your breath. I take that back. Not if you've got one, if you can be bothered going to your car and getting it, because that's where mine is now. So once you've sanded and everything's nice and smooth, clean off any of that excess dust. Now something that you can do now or actually before you patch is apply your sealer or the stain blocker. Now in this case here we've got a little bit of bleeding along the edge over here, so that's going to bleed through with our top coat, so we need to actually seal it. Now usually I seal it before actually patching, give it a nice surface to have the patch go over the top, but to be 100% honest I forgot to do it, so I'm going to have to do it now, which is no issue anyway. I'm just going to take a brush and apply Zinsser B.I.N. Zinsser B.I.N is a shellac base, so it dries in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we're going to cover just this patch area here, wait for it to dry, then I'm going to give it one coat of sealing paint, once again just this patched area here, then we're going to cut in all the way around and roll in the whole ceiling. After that, it'll be perfect. So this one here is the Zinsser B.I.N, in case you're not too sure. You can use Zinsser B.I.N or Coverall, I think it's called, which is the yellow one, and that one there is oil base. It's a lot nicer to work with, however you've got a lot longer dry time. So this one here is about 10 to 15 minutes, but this stuff here is literally like working with water. Not sure if you guys can see there, but it's literally running like water. So you've got to be careful not to overload your brush. Otherwise it'll end up everywhere else but on the ceiling. Might actually get the roller and roll the rest in. Alright, we'll let this one here dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. Come back and we're going to paint just this one little section here with our sealing paint. Now the sealer's all dry, we can get started on our top coat, which in this case is going to be our sealing paint. I'm going to cut in the edges here. Anywhere we got that sealer on, we're going to paint right up to the edge of it. And then we're going to roll the rest in. So we're only doing the patched area to begin with. And the reason for that is we need 2 coats on top of this sealer here. You'll always still see it after the first coat. So once this one here is dry on the first coat, I'll show you what it ends up looking like. You can still see the sealer bleeding through, or the shadow of it showing through from the top coat. But once we put on the second coat, it slowly starts to die down. And then after a few hours, it's completely gone. So we'll just make sure we've cut in nicely all the way around. And I'll roll this section here in. So the first coat's dry now. You can just barely see the outline of that sealer, which is a good thing. What we're going to do now is give it our second and final coat. I'm going to cut in all the way around the whole ceiling, even this light here, with the brush, and then I'm going to roll this whole section in. Once it's all done, settled down and dry, I'm going to show you what it ends up looking like. But you can pretty much already tell that it's looking awesome right now. No more damage up there. I'm going to quickly roll this in and I'll show you what it ends up looking like. And once it's all done, this here is what it ends up looking like. We've got a perfect finish. There is no way you'd be able to tell there was any previous damage here. Even if I bring you guys in nice and close, try and look for any of those imperfections along the ceiling. That is looking awesome. So hopefully this is going to help you out, save you some money and allow you to do it yourself. If you did need to cut a section of the ceiling out and you're not too sure how to do it, check out my other videos where I'll show you step by step how to do it. But hopefully this video is going to get you through your little project. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Bill's How To.